Yo, 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 it's your boy, Mr. G, coming at you live for 7.1 Writing and Solving Inequalities. So, here we go, guys. We're going to talk about inequalities today, and hopefully at this point you need to know how to graph inequalities. So, if you don't, go back and watch that video, and you should be good to go. So, solving inequalities is the same as solving equations. So when I talk about solving inequalities, we're talking about problems that look like this. So it looks like an equation, except for I replace that equal sign with an inequality symbol. So instead of x minus 12 being equal to 32, x minus 12 is going to be greater than 32. So when I say solving inequalities is the same as solving equations, what I mean is the goal is to get the variable by itself still. So my goal is still to isolate this variable by canceling out everything to the left of the inequality symbol. And it's going to be the same as what we did with solving equations. So because I have x minus 12 is greater than 32, I need to get rid of this minus 12. And to get rid of minus 12, I do the opposite, which is plus 12. And whatever I do to one side of the inequality symbol, I have to do to the other side. Now, one thing that's really important with inequalities, we bring our variable down. We have to do it in this order. And we have to bring our inequality symbol down because it's no longer an equal sign. The direction of the inequality symbol really does make a difference. Okay, and then I would solve. So I have x is greater than 44. So what this solution means is that x is not just equal to 44. If this is an equal sign, that means x would have to be 44. But because of this inequality symbol, this symbol means that x is the larger number. X has to be a number that's larger than 44. So what I would do is I would graph that solution to show all the possible values for x that would make this true. Because any value bigger than 44 would be a solution to this particular inequality. Okay, so I would start my number line to graph this at 44. I'll write a couple numbers to the left. I don't know why I drew a negative symbol there. Ignore that, please. Not supposed to be there. And then I'll write a couple numbers to the right of 44. So I got 45. This is pretty sloppy, sorry. 46. And now I'm actually going to graph it. So I got to ask myself, do I have an open or a closed circle? This is why that video on graphing inequalities is important that you know. Because it's greater than, it's an open circle. Because 44 is not part of my solution. Okay. And x is larger than 44, so I need to look at the numbers that are bigger, 45 and 46. So that means I'm going to graph to the right. So if I plug in any of these values to the right of 44 on the number line into this inequality, it would be true. So if I plug in 45, if I do 45 minus 12, and this is how I check my work. 45 minus 12, that is 33. Is 33 greater than 32? Whoa, sorry guys. Having some technical difficulties here. Is 33 greater than 32? It is. That works. Okay, I would plug in 46. Is 46 minus 12? That would be 34. Is 34 greater than 32? Yes, it is. So any number greater than 44, when I plug into this inequality, is going to make a true statement because the left side would then be greater than the right side. And that's it. So really what you're doing is you're solving an equation, but instead of bringing an equal sign down, you're bringing an inequality symbol down. And then you need to show your solution on a graph. Let's look at a couple more. Hey, if you want to try these ones on your own, just because you've got equations down, I would pause it right now, try them, graph them, and then see how you do afterwards. So I would pause it if you can. Okay, so let's work on the one on the left. Y minus 8. I need to get my variable by itself, just like before. So instead of minus 8, to cancel out and subtract 8, I would need to add 8. Because negative 8 plus 8 is 0. Whatever I do on the right side of the inequality symbol, I have to do on the left. So negative 14 plus 8, I have a negative number and I'm adding a positive. So really I'm subtracting these numbers and I'm keeping the sign of the bigger number. So because I have more negatives than positives, I know my answer is negative. And 14 minus 8 is 6. I have to bring down that inequality symbol and I have to bring down my variable. So that means, whoa, sorry, spaz attack. Let's get rid of all that. So this means that y, I did it again. Sorry, guys. Okay. So I'm just going to go through this real quick again. We know that y has to be less than negative 6. Because the alligator is opening towards the negative 6, that means my values for y are smaller numbers than that, because this has to be the larger value. So now I'm going to go onto my graph. Again, having some malfunctions. I don't know what's going on. Really apologize. So I'm going to start my graph at negative 6. To the right of negative 6 on the number line would be a negative 5. To the left would be negative 7. I'm counting backwards because it is negative. Because I have the or equal to symbol, I'm going to do a closed circle on negative 6. Now, y has to be values smaller. Okay, y has to be values smaller than negative 6. So whenever our variable is less than, we're always going to shade to the left. Because if I plug in negative 7 here, is negative 7 less than or equal to negative 6? And the answer is yes, because negative 6 is a bigger number than negative 7 because when there were negatives, we're backwards. Okay, so there would be my solution. So if I plug in any value to the left, so negative 8, negative 10, negative 20, negative 30, all of those values would make this inequality true. Okay, now I'm moving over to this other problem here. Because it's plus 9, minus 9. And I'm going to do it on both sides. Those cancel. Bring down my variable. Got to bring down that inequality symbol. So that's a less than. And then I'm left with 11. So C is less than 11. So that means any number smaller than 11 would be true in this inequality. So now when I graph it, I got 11, 12. I'll even do 13. This to the left of it would be 10, 9. I got to ask myself, open or closed circle? Because there's no or equal to symbol. It is an open circle above the 11. Because C is less than. My variable is all the numbers, values that are smaller than 11. So I'm going to go left. 10 is smaller than 11. 9 is smaller than 11. So these are possible solutions to this inequality. I can plug any of these values in to see if that would make a true statement. So let's plug in 10. So I plug in 10 for C, because I'm saying that C could be possible. 10 is a solution for C. If I plug in 10 for C, 10 plus 9. Is that less than 20? That's what I'm trying to ask myself. Is 19 less than 20? It is. I did it right. I shaded the right direction. I'm good to go. Okay? Now, there's one exception to the rule. And I would make sure we copy this down, put big stars next to it, because this is the only thing that's different. Whenever you have to multiply both sides by a negative number, you must flip the inequality symbol. That would be this one over here. And we'll get to that example right away. So, get this down and we'll talk about what that looks like. So let's actually do that one first. So because I'm going to solve this the exact same way as an equation. This is a division problem. This is x divided by negative 6. So the opposite of division is multiplication. So what I would do is I would cancel out this negative 6 by multiplying by negative 6. And whatever I do on one side, I have to do on the other side. Again, no different than an equation. Okay, but here's where this extra rule applies. Because I am multiplying both sides by a negative number. I am multiplying both sides by a negative number. I must flip the inequality symbol. So because I multiply both sides by a negative 6. These still cancel. That's the whole goal. We wanted to get the variable by itself. So because it's divided by negative 6, I decided to multiply by negative 6. I still have my variable by itself. Okay. And then 7 times negative 6 is negative 42. What needs to happen here, though, is this is where I flip my symbol. Okay, because I multiplied both sides by a negative, I need to flip it. So because it was alligator is facing right, now it's going to be open to the left. So x is any value greater than negative 42 would make this a true statement. Okay, so, and again, I could graph my solution. This would be a negative 41 because I'm backwards because of the negative values, open circle because there's no or equal to symbol, and x is greater than, which means it's everything to the right. Okay, and I can check one of my solutions over here to see if that would be a true statement. I'm going to do something that's divisible by 6 to make this work. So I'm going to choose negative 36. Negative 36 is on the right side of negative 42, so it's part of my solution. It is a value that is bigger than negative 42. So if I plug in negative 36 and I divide it by negative 6, is that going to be an answer that's less than 7? Well, negative 36 divided by negative 6, that is positive 6. Is positive 6 less than 7? It is. This worked. Okay? One thing I also want you guys to add, it's when you have to multiply or divide. So this also goes when you have to divide by a negative as well. Okay, so it's either multiply or divide both sides by a negative. And we'll look at that next one. Go ahead and try this one on your own. There's no negative sign here, so we're okay. We don't have to worry about flipping our symbol. But because it's x divided by 4, I would cancel it out by multiplying by 4 on both sides. So I'm multiplying by 4 on both sides because that cancels out my division. Whoo, another spaz attack. We're good. That cancels out my division. I get x is less than 20. Okay? So again, same thing as an equation. I get to graph my solution, open circle, and because x is less than, I'm going to go left. Okay, last two problems. If you want to try these on your own, please do so. I would hit pause, try them on your own, and then check afterwards, see if you did them correctly. Okay, but again, when we multiply or divide both sides by a negative, we got to flip our symbol. Okay, so this first one right here, I'm going to divide by 5 because this is multiplication here, 5v. So because I'm multiplying, I need to divide to cancel it out. So I'm going to divide by 5, and whatever I do on one side, I have to do on the other side. The 5's cancel, that's why we did it. Got to bring down my inequality symbol. I do not need to flip it because I divided by a positive. I did not divide by a negative. So I get v is greater than or equal to 9. So again, start my graph at 9. Closed circle because I have that greater than or equal to. I have that or equal to. And because it's greater than, it's going to be the values of like 10 and 11. Those are all greater than 9. Okay, this is the one where we have that special rule that comes into play. So I have negative 3 times x. The opposite of multiplication is division. So I need to cancel out that negative 3 by dividing by a negative 3 to make that go away. Whatever I do on one side, I have to do on the other side. So if we notice, I divided both sides by a negative number. So this is where I have to flip my inequality symbol. I got to change the direction of it because I divided both sides by a negative. So I get x is less than negative a. Okay, so again, got to make sure that we show different values on each side on the number line to show that we understand that negatives count backwards. Open circle because there's no or equal to. And then because x is less than, I have to shade left. Negative 9 is less than negative 8. That's it, guys. So, oh, I forgot my joke. Math joke. Sorry, I waited till the end. Hey, what is a math teacher's favorite kind of tree? A math teacher's favorite kind of tree. A geometry. I know this isn't a geometry lesson, but it's still a great joke. Okay, hey, but that's it for this video. So good luck. The big thing is that this is the same as solving equations, except for when we multiply or divide both sides by a negative number, we have to flip our inequality symbol. That's really the only new rule here. Make sure we know how to graph. If we're still confused on graphing, I have 2 videos on graphing inequalities, so you can watch either one. But good luck, guys. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks for watching. G out.